The Detroit Lions failed to the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 6 after having the #1 spot heading into Week 6 in the NFL Power Rankings. And I, without saying this, because you guys know how I do, I like to look at this blindly, I know that they've fallen from #1. Not often can you lose and keep the previous spot that you were in. So with that being said, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be #2. And there's actually a new team on the list that you could have predicted before, even without seeing the list. And that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have a 5-1 record. They lead the NFC. Detroit losing the game dropped to the #6 seed, going from #1. I believe they were tied for #1 with 3 other teams. And now they are the 6th seed. They no longer lead their division. That would be the 3-1-1 Green Bay Packers, right? That's where they are. So I got to say this because I'm irritated, right? First, I had a member come at me on Twitter with some nonsense, I guess because they don't listen to my videos or whatever. And I was saying, I guess I didn't have to say that the NFL was rigged. We've had this conversation before. You guys don't like when I talk about it, but I talk about the narrative of the NFL. And the best part, the only silver lining about the loss to the Detroit Lions is very similar to the Dallas Cowboy game. The entire world got to see it, but it's not going to change anything. It might alter some things. Maybe we'll see an uptick. The Chiefs went from 13 penalties to 0. I think they were the last team to do it, right? It hasn't happened in 4 years, and they happen to be the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't know. This is a very emotional game. I understand that, but you got to be careful. Think before you start talking because you'll make yourself look like a fool. Okay. So with that being the case, I believe in NFL storylines. I told you that. We've had this conversation. We know him about Matthew Stafford. The Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff storyline will not end until A, Matthew Stafford is retired, which will probably be in 10 years, or B, when he is on another team that is not the LA Rams, which I don't think is going to happen. I think he's finished his career. Why am I doing all of this? Because I think that this is, even though we're talking about power rankings, I think that this whole thing is setting up for Chiefs-Lions Super Bowl. The Bills lost last night. The Chiefs are now, how often does an 0-2 team make the playoffs? The Kansas City Chiefs not only will make the playoffs, they will beat the Buffalo Bills, and they will wind up in the Super Bowl. I am now convinced it's going to happen. And I think if done right, if the Detroit Lions don't shoot themselves in the foot, they'll be there to represent the NFC. We'll see. Got a lot of season to go. So without saying this, let's see what the headline is. It says NFL Power Rankings Week 7. Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers hit #1, which is to be expected, while Seahawks cracked top 3. So if the Buccaneers are 1 and the Seahawks are 3, or top 3, then the Detroit Lions are going to be 2. Now, did Eric move the Lions back to 3? Knowing him, he did. He did. They should be #2. The fact that he put crack top 3, trying to leave some mystery there, I'm going to go with my gut and say that the Detroit Lions are #2. And we know who #1 is. So let's see. And then we usually look at the rest of the top 10. So #1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5-1. Their only loss coming against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, and that was at the end of the game. Baker Mayfield interception. They're playing phenomenal football. He is going to be without his rookie wide receiver, his star rookie coming up. We'll talk about that a little later. Mike Evans might not come back, and Chris Godwin. He literally was playing with no-name people. This is going to be a showdown. This should be a doozy at Ford Field. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be #2. There you go. The Detroit Lions are #2, down 1 spot, and #3 obviously are the Seattle Seahawks. So I don't know. After the Detroit Lions, I kind of don't know where everybody. I'm going to say that the Chiefs all of a sudden are top 10. Are they top 5? I'm not going to say they're there yet, but let's take a look at the rest of the top 10. #4, the Buffalo Bills, down 1 spot, having lost 2 in a row now. You have the Green Bay Packers, 3-1-1, and that's where I was going with this. Lions fans. It's funny. I get a lot of criticism. A lot of people coming. I had some like I said, people get emotional with this game, and they want to talk about me being emotional. I'm getting attacked on Twitter by a former member who I don't know what's going on with him, but hope he finds what he needs. Saying that, I don't care about football, which I do. I said that every game matters. It was you guys saying that we could afford to lose. You were okay if we lost this game. It was you that was saying that, not me. I don't like losing, period. It sucks. There is no, it's okay to lose this game in the National Football League. You know why? Because the Green Bay Packers, and we have to have a better record than them in order to make it into the playoffs. We have to have a better record. This tie right here is a half win. It's a half win. So if the Detroit Lions need to end with a better record than the Green Bay Packers. That's the only way they're going to make it. Even though we haven't split with them yet, they got to end with a better record. That tie will come back to bite us in the behind, or bite them. That loss will, okay? Right now, the Green Bay Packers at 3-1-1 lead the division because they have a half win more, all right? So don't tell me and don't talk to me about being okay losing a game. Number 6 is the Philadelphia Eagles coming off their 4-0 start. Isn't it kind of ironic that both 4-0 teams, all of a sudden, they lost the same 2 back-to-back games. So from 4-0 to all of a sudden 2-2. Number 7 is going to be, 4-2, the Los Angeles Rams. And they are coming off a win, I believe they are. Yeah, I think they're coming off a win. You have the, surprisingly, Indianapolis Colts. Now, this is very low for a team that was second in scoring. The Indianapolis Colts going into week 6 were number 2 in scoring, right behind the Detroit Lions. I guess he doesn't believe in them yet. 8th, and they were 8th last week. The Kansas City Chiefs broke the top 10, up 3 spots. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. And the Aaron Rodgers-led, very quiet, consistent Steelers up 5 spots, leading the AFC North with the number 10 spot. Now let's go up and see what they said about the Detroit Lions. Here's what he had to say. Says, the Lions have struggled to slow down explosive offenses this season. They had issues at time with Green Bay in week 1, Baltimore with a healthy Lamar Jackson in week 3, and were strung several times by Patrick Mahomes on Sunday night. Now the high-flying Bucks come to Detroit this coming Monday night in another huge test for the defense. Allowing more yards and points to that caliber offense is understandable, but the Lions must produce more splash plays defensively. Against the Packers, Ravens, and Chiefs, they only forced 1 total turnover. They had 8 turnovers forced in the other 3 games. The Chiefs essentially made an 8-possession game for the Lions, limiting the visitors' chance to score. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden. So, a couple of things that stood out about this game. Well, we already talked about the game, but the Lions had no turnovers. The Lions have also not beat a team that was over 500, but we'll worry about that this Sunday. So, again, I can't really argue with what he's saying. We needed some takeaways. This game is one that I don't really want to talk about because it's very reminiscent to the Dallas game. It really is, how they wiped the touchdown off the board, and we're probably going to talk about that a little later, about why that was called what it was. But I mean, I agree with the ranking of where they are. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a better record. I always think if you have a better record, depending on who you've played, then having a better record with your competition included will, in my opinion, trend towards you being a higher rank. So I'm okay with, but he always got something to say. Man. But yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Again, we're going to keep this series up. I have not finished a power ranking series in the whole time I've been doing this. I haven't finished a power ranking series. All right, so I'm going to say this, and then we'll wrap up the video. You know me, man. I am in the comment section. I am not liked by everyone. Shout out to the people I met at the stadium, and shout out to the people that do. My thing is, if you don't like what you see, you don't have to watch it. If you don't agree with me, very emotional game, right? We get into it. A lot of times we let stuff slide. I'm in the comment section. We get emotional. I had to apologize myself to one of my homies. He kind of caught some strays after the game. You guys remember that I had something to say about Motor City Chef or Motor City, Chef Lions, or at the time, and he caught a stray. I apologized to him, and now he's part of the team, right? So sometimes we can be out of line because we're emotional. But one thing I'll say is this: is if you can literally watch anyone else, you don't have to be over here. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to watch. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to super chat. You don't have to super thanks. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I'm not going to ask anybody for anything if you don't want to give it. Okay? So It's a lot. Sometimes you got to step away from it before you respond. I've been guilty of that myself on air, where it's receipted and documented. And I've had to come back and apologize several times, right? But we got to be careful with what we say when we say it, because you can't take that stuff back. You can't, so be swift about hearing and slow about speaking, right? So anyway, but it is a fan-driven game, very emotionally charged. I understand. I was walking from the stadium, and these kids decided to bother me. These young frat boy kids, they decided to start opening their mouth. And for the first time ever, I had something to say. I just wasn't in the mood. I have not been in the mood. So anyway, it's all good. It's all love. I've got no problem with anybody. I'm just saying, you have the whole world at your disposal. YouTube has billions of people who watch every month and millions of creators. You can go watch them. Okay. That's all I ask is, is do that. All right. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. I did learn a valuable lesson this trip. Is I have decided if I cannot fly to these games, I am not going. If it's outside of the state of Ohio, Indiana, or Illinois, I will go to Chicago. I can do that. It's not too bad. I will go to Paul Brown or the Bengals, the Browns, the Bears, the Colts. Outside of that, I'm flying. If I'm not flying, I'm streaming. That's how we gonna be. I did. It took me 14 hours to get home, including stopping for gas, stretching. 14 hours, 737 miles is what it was to get to Kansas City. Going there, it was night and it was fog. You couldn't see but 100 feet in front of you. It was carcasses everywhere. I saw a coyote or something run across the freeway. He was strutting. I saw a deer the same night, maybe about 50 minutes later, strutting across a 70-mile-an-hour, nobody in sight highway. Yeah, those days are over. That's it. If I can't fly, I'm at the crib. That's how we gonna do. So I went to Arrowhead. Don't assume we'll be playing them in Arrowhead anytime soon. Hopefully everybody that I convinced to go, you had a blast. I wish we could have won. And as far as me going to the games and now we losing, look, y'all superstitious. I'm not. I'm going to go to games I want to go to. That's how that's going to be. All right. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I spend my own money on these games. For somebody to say that I don't like football or I'm not about football is ridiculous. So be careful what you say, man, because you can't take this stuff back.